Whether it's at home or in TV or in the movies, we always see people dealing with, and you may have it in your own life, alcoholism, substance abuse. Pretty serious topic, and pretty serious for a pretty unwieldy topic for someone as young as 15, as my next guest is. And according to the CDC, I want to tell you, our children are starting to abuse alcohol as early as age 8, and drugs not long after. So the stats on young driver alcohol-related deaths are staggering. And we've got our next guest with us tonight, Mark and Leanna Treitler, and they wrote together this book. I mean, you guys are so amazing to just reveal this so you can help others and put yourself out there. I can't say enough about it. My Dad is an Alcoholic. What about me? A preteen guide to conquering addictive genes. And so, Mark, I understand. I'll start with you just real quick. You are
having us.
Oh, thanks for being here. And again, so great, because I know you're going around talking about this. You've got your books and just spreading the message. And so important, because who doesn't have it in their personal life, in their family? Friends have been affected, and addiction is such a tough thing to sort of to figure out. If you don't have the addiction, it's hard to understand what people are going through, and I'll bet you found that out. But now you're 9 years sober, is that right?
Yes, one day at a time. I'm almost 10.
That's pretty good. So who wants to start to tell me about the journey of how you got here?
Well, I'll start. I had a long career of drinking, like a lot of people do, and then I was fortunate enough to be inspired by my daughter and some other things to ask for help. When I got into rehab, one of the first things I realized was that it can be a hereditary disease in the family.
Sure.
And my mom's family and dad's family, it's all over that tree. So the first thing I thought was, why don't I have this information? Why didn't I know this going to college? So I set out and to make sure that my kids knew it, Leanna as well. And then, you know, we discussed it over time, we realized that every family has some member that's struggling, and we wanted to make sure that, you know, every preteen had some information to be able to fight off the disease.
It's pretty amazing that you can conquer it at all, and I know it's a day-by-day thing.
Yeah.
You just try to get through today. But if you're 10 years sober now and you're 15...
She's 17.
Oh, you're 17 now? But you were 15 when you started this journey, I guess. Okay, 7. That explains a lot, because you're so well-spoken and lovely. It's just so nice. Mark and Leanna Treitler. Leanna, so she was, what, 7? And she said, why is Daddy drinking so much? I mean, how did it all sort of get prompted, this?
Yeah, she... you know, there was a lot of things that should have made me hit my bottom and stop drinking, but the one thing that actually did it was I took Leanna to a daddy-daughter concert, and I was really excited about it, and came home, and then my wife said, Leanna, how was the concert? And she said something like, Daddy drank a lot.
Oh.
And that, to me...
What, 7? Something like that?
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago, yeah. So that, to me, was what did it, and a couple of days later I went to rehab, so that's what got me in. You don't ever really know what's going to make an alcoholic or addict seek help, but that's what did it for me, is Leanna, what she said.
Sure. Leanna, what do you sort of remember from that era?
Most of what I remember was my parents fighting a lot. I remember a lot of aggression in my house when my dad was drinking. Mostly just fighting. My brother and I were playing, or at nighttime they would be bickering in their bedroom. I also remember feeling a little bit detached from my parents, not really realizing what was going on between them, realizing why this was happening in my family. So a lot of disconnect and a lot of kind of tension in my house.
It's a lot for any kid to take in, especially 7 years old. But that's what happens. Real life encroaches, and it's neat that you sort of tried to take command and take charge of doing something about it. So you guys you've got 2 books now?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so we started off with My Dad is an Alcoholic, What About You? Obviously talking about myself and my dad, kind of as a guide for kids who have addiction in their genes, how to navigate through that and how to overcome.
And is that available here? We're looking for our TV audience at potatoallergy.com for one place they can find them, right?
Yes, you can also buy it on Amazon.
Oh, good deal.
So that was our first book, and then we released a second book called Alcohol, Drugs, and You, and that's targeted more towards all preteens, all teens, and fighting addiction in general, not just for that kid who has it in their genes, but for all the other kids who are worried about becoming addicted to drugs and alcohol use as well.
So what happened, you 10 years ago, you got sober day by day, and then all of a sudden a couple years ago you said, you know, let's write about this journey. It's such a success. Let's be a blessing to other people. Is that sort of how it happened?
Yeah, we discussed how to make sure that we knew about it and how we could help other families that are struggling. Everybody, I'd say 90% of the people that I talk to in the world about the book, there's somebody in their family that has an issue. So we discussed, and I don't remember who came up with the idea of a book, but she's a great writer and wanted to contribute. And next thing you know, we're talking about subject matter and chapters, and she wrote half the book, and I wrote half the book, and she's a better writer, by the way. So, and now we're just trying to get it out to as many kids as possible and give them a fighting chance.